So here's the little bit of a freehand line segment. Put the point of the pencil, put the straight edge against it, and then coming down to the bottom here to see if I can line up the straight edge. And just give myself a line. Once I have it, there's an end point. I'm going to put it pretty heavily on the blue. I'm going to do the same thing. Put the ruler or the pencil down first, put the ruler up against it. And I know it's not going to go all the way back, but I'll just make it light. So I've went dark to light. Do the same on this one. So now I have that front piece. So now I'm just going to say, well, it's about this far back. So there it is. And now I have this part. So now I just cross the diagonals. It's pretty close to find the center. I don't have to really make a big heavy line. I just need the center. So the second line, I'm just going to line it up and put an intersection right there. Right there. Then do the same thing. Put the pencil right at the center, butt the ruler up against it. Since this ruler, yours actually has the markings on both sides, so you can actually line it up to the paper or come as close as you can. And give myself a vertical line. If I go over the horizon line, that's fine, or stay beneath it, that's fine too. Pay attention on this, please. At this point here, I put the ruler against it, rotate it so it lines up here. It's much easier. And just go ahead and line that up in there. Okay, so there it is, the top. Come back on the bottom. I may want to make that a little bit larger. So I'll extend this down. That's the base of it. And do the same thing. Just line up the corners. Here's the corner. So you're actually transposing this from an orthographic, isometric type of drawing. And now I'm just going to go right back in with the pen and go ahead and line that up. Now again, this pen stroke, I'm trying to be somewhat careful with it. So I want to use the hatch lines to start to illustrate it. But you can see that it comes out pretty good. So just lining this up. So here's the point to this edge. So you're picking up a lot of one-point perspective, drafting, drawing, all at the same time. So there's the shape. I'm going to try to be consistent with this shading, so the light source is coming from the top here. And as these lines go, I can start to taper them and illustrate this. They can all radiate from there, or they can just be a sheer line. Doesn't matter how you start to experiment with it. But there's the line. So I'm trying to get that part shaded. I could go with this line first if I wish. I can even put a straight edge against the line so I don't have to be so careful. And remember the distance between the lines, just like in the computer when you start to shade with some of it, builds that section up. So the straight edge kind of works as a template and helps you bring that piece together. This part that's the brightest light, I still made a line, so I'm going to try to lose that line by slightly taking this. And you can do this again. You can actually line the line up and just push the straight edge a little bit. Or you can do it all freehand, whichever you feel comfortable with, or a combination of it. There you have it. Remember the distance, the crosshatch is going to make it darker. It's actually going to make some of those shapes come alive with that look to it. So again, here's a line that I'm trying to lose, so I can just line up with the straight edge and either push the straight edge into it this way, or have the pen push the straight edge the opposite direction. So it's just some little tricks in how to illustrate. And once you have some of it laid out, it doesn't matter because the pen can go right over the edge into this section here, and it just helps the shading come together. So here's a chance where the pen is just pushing across, moving the straight edge, allowing me to shade that. The texture of the paper, you'll see, is if you start to put more pressure, loses the texture and gives you more value. There's all kinds of different mediums that you can try. But that's your inverted pyramid drawing for perspective right there.